Hello, hello. Can you guys see me and hear me now? Hello? Hello, hello. Can you guys see and hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello, hello. Okay, here we go. It looks like I don't know what happened. I've been talking to you guys for like the last 10 minutes. And then I saw the comments and you're like, where is she? I was here the whole time. I don't know what happened. That's so funny. Well, I don't know how much you guys did or didn't hear, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I promise you I wasn't late. I don't know what happened. What? God, it's been so weird. Well, I'll start again then. Welcome to another live chat here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator. And my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you tips and tricks and techniques that I do every day in my own voiceover business. And then we get together in these weekly chats to talk about a topic or 10. And if you are not new here, then you know that every week we have a new poll. And I was already getting over to the comments and I'm like, hey, what is going on? So today's poll is, how do you reduce your noise floor? And for those of you that are unaware what a noise floor even is, the noise floor is the volume of your ambient room in your recording space. And typically, when we have an issue with our noise floor, because as you know, it's a delicate balance between in the beginning especially, it's a delicate balance between the microphone volume, the gain, versus your noise floor. Because if you're turning up the gain for your volume of your microphone, you're also turning up the volume of the noise floor. So, and we aren't aware of what could be causing the high noise floor in the beginning because we are just accustomed to the sounds in our room. We're just accustomed to everything around us. So usually the sources of, or the cause of your noise floor being too high is usually your computer system. For me, that's what it was anyway. Your HVAC system, your AC, your heater running. It could be a ceiling fan above you. It could be an electrical panel nearby. It could be a refrigerator on the other side of the wall. Your best bet in reducing your noise floor is to really sit and take a listen, take a moment to sit in your recording space and go, okay, what is making noise? What can I move further away or turn off while I'm recording? Because that will help you to reduce your noise floor, especially if you're into producing audiobooks. The noise floor is a standard that we need to meet. The end result of your file needs to be under 60 decibels. Right? Negative 60 decibels. I always forget the negative part. So finding the source of the noise, finding the root cause is better than using noise reducers. Now, you can use some noise reducers, but keep in mind that the noise reducers are designed to focus on low-end frequencies, which is usually the cause of the noise, which is usually the sound or the frequency of the noise. But we also have those same delicious low-end frequencies in our voice. So we don't want to go too heavy. We don't want to go too heavy on the noise reducers because they will also remove those same low-end frequencies from your voice as well, giving you sort of a tinny sound or a metallic sound. And you don't want to do that because noise reducers, well, any effects really, but noise reducers especially are very destructive to your voice. So you want to go very light on those. So again, finding the root cause of your noise is going to serve you much better. And again, for me, that was my computer, and I live in the desert, so my HVAC, my air conditioner's on 90% of the time in the summer. So I have to record with the air conditioner off and then edit while it's on, cooling things down. How I was able to move my computer away from my computer actually sits outside this room, and I just bought extra long cables from Amazon. Because you don't want to use connectors or extenders. You want one nice clean line, wired connection from, everything that you're using in your recording space to your computer. You want a nice clean connection. So I just got extra long cables from my interface, from my monitor. Everything that needs to be connected to my computer is just an extra long cable, runs outside to the computer outside this room. That way I can close the door and then it's quiet in here. Now we have 24 votes, and I'm sorry I went through all of this before, but I had no idea I wasn't on the screen. But we have 25 votes. So how do you reduce your noise floor? Because I'm hoping that something that we say today, or something that I say, you say today, is going to help somebody fix or, resolve their noise floor issues or prevent them from even having noise floor issues. So looks like 8% of you said you moved your computer away from your mic, which is also myself. 28% of you said turning off the HVAC during recording. Again, that's something else I had to do. 15% of you said you record at night or early morning. Some of us have very large households. So kids are screaming, everyone's making noise, watching TV. So the only way to record in a quiet environment is to record while everyone's asleep, which is usually late at night or early in the morning. And then 46% of you said, I use noise reducing effects, as do I, especially for audiobooks, but very sparingly. Again, you want to go very sparingly on the noise reducing effects. Now that we're all caught up, now we can go over to the comments. I know you guys are all going to grill me for not being. I swear I was here. I was talking to you guys, but you weren't here, so you guys owe me the donuts. Maybe not. Paul is first in. Hey, Paul. Good day all from once again sunny Dunmow, Essex, UK. I didn't vote in today's poll, but thought I'd share what I've done so far to reduce noise floor. First, replaced spinning disks with SSD in my PC. It's not really feasible with my current setup to move to the PC. 2, optimize the space so far as possible for minimum acoustic noise. 3, use expansion in my effects rack. 4, use noise reduction in my effects rack. And then 5, both items 3 and 4 are obviously done with care and caution, but I can repeatedly achieve a noise floor of -75 dB or better. Occasionally, my checks with Audacity and Second Opinion, for a Second Opinion, suggest noise floor is too low, but I've never had ACX reject a file for this reason or any other. I wonder what others have experienced. I would say your noise floor doesn't have to be completely gone for ACX. If you're producing audiobooks, you could even be -64. You just can't eclipse -60. So you don't have to be completely silent. I would never use silence because that is just, the human ear can hear that. You can hear kind of like ambient noise behind the person talking, and then just silence between the words. It just sounds odd. So that's when ACX will usually say there's silence is kind of inserted in here. Don't ever use silence in audiobooks. You want to have a natural noise floor. And again, it doesn't have to be -75. It can be -64, -67, just as long as it doesn't go consistently past -60. Because ACX's software, much like any other, will spot check your noise floor. It'll spot check in specific places in the file, random places within the file. And as long as all of those check out under -60, you're fine. So don't, you know, laser focus in on the noise floor if it's, you know, in a couple places above -60. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Caesar says, tough pull. I do all of that and eventually abandoned the use of noise reduction plugins because once you learn how to do it, EQ and expander cleans up audio very transparently. Noise pollution used to be a serious problem for me. I built my studio in a spare bedroom with hollow doors. Those have since been replaced with solid core doors with acoustic blankets attached. In addition, I moved my laptop out into the hallway and routed the cables in. In the DAW, I use a high pass to eliminate anything below the fundamental and an expander for transparent room tone reduction. Now, I know there's probably some people watching or listening that are going, I don't know what any of that is. She's speaking German right now. No idea what she's talking about. Trust me, you will. The longer that you stay, you know, attuned and learning in this business, this will become common knowledge to you. You'll begin to learn these terms. So don't let what Caesar's saying scare you away from staying with it, from learning more, because you will learn it. You will learn it. I mean, for me, it was all a completely foreign language too. You will learn it. Just stick with it. I promise you. Dylan is here. Hey, Dylan. Dylan says all of the above, although lately a family of crickets have moved in my crawl space and they're making recording difficult. Yeah, crickets, any kind of creepy crawlies that make noise. Not your children. It's tough. It's tough. I feel you. Caesar says, but the first thing I did was fix noise issues at the source. No denoisers. Denoisers can be used sparingly to scrape away what EQ and the expander can't fix, but should not be a go-to solution. And that is essentially what I was saying with using only noise reducers, because it's very tempting to just go heavy and then have that beautiful noise floor, but then listen back to your dialogue and see what it did to your dialogue. It's not a crutch. It's definitely not something to use, you know, only, because it will damage the sound of the audio for sure. Caesar says, that said, hello, Angela. Hello, everyone. Now tackling Colette's website, shameless plug, and also heard back from the author of my mermaid book. She said something flawless flawless performance. That's awesome. No doubt. No doubt in my mind, Caesar. You are amazing, Caesar. Caesar says to Dylan, I can absolutely relate. Katydids were once the bane of my existence. Roosters still occasionally cause problems, but how do you silence something that's 130 decibels loud? That is a loud rooster. That is one loud rooster. Dwight says, good morning, Angela, my fellow Angelistas. I wanted to answer all of the above for the poll today. I'm limited to four vote responses. So I wanted to add, like, I haven't tried this yet, or all of the above. I wanted to add a few more, but I'm limited to only 4. Caesar says to Paul, I've never had a room tone check fail at anything above -85, so you may have some ultra quiet spots in your recording. Yeah, I try to keep mine just below -60 for audiobooks. I'm not trying to make it silent. You want some ambient room noise going on. You don't want just silence between everything you say. It just sounds unnatural. Caesar said, something Dwight and I do is to mix paste a false room floor to ensure an even tone across the entire recording. Some call it cheating, but if it works, it works. Donnie says, I do all of those on the survey, and sometimes you have to. You have to find, that delicate balance between what works and what doesn't. And that just takes a lot of trial and error. Lots of trial and error. But again, stick with it. You will find a solution. Pamela's here. Hey, Pamela. Bid on a house was accepted. Good. I am off and running. Have a good YouTube and see you Thursday for platinum. Yes, ma'am. Congrats, Pam. For sure. Dylan says congrats. Caesar says, great to hear, Pamela. I had a bird on a house once. Made quite a mess. Paul says to Caesar, I'm sure you're right, but it hasn't presented any issues as of yet for the low noise floor. Donnie says to Dylan, get a lizard or a snake to eat the crickets. Reptiles are quiet. That's a good point. Nature's solution. My cup of tea says, morning, y'all. Good morning to you. Caesar says to Donnie, Godzilla has entered the chat. I need an awful lot of crickets. John Freetag is here. Good morning. Good morning to you. Gregory says to me, this is what Adobe Audition has over Audacity. I learned how to create presets in Audacity, but tweaking it seems easier on Audition. I have to agree with you, Gregory. I used Audacity for a few months in the beginning, but then switching to Adobe Audition, it just felt like everything was so much easier. Like the world had just opened up. You know, everything just seemed so much easier and intuitive. And I'm not saying that anyone is better than another, but it really comes down when if you're in that space where you're going, okay, well, there's all these different recording softwares, which one do I choose? It really comes down to which one feels better for you, which one just feels right, is easier to understand. There are, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, Audacity is free to use and download, but the others, Adobe Audition, Reaper, Studio One, there's a handful of them. Most of them will give you like a free trial period. I highly recommend just trying them out and see which one sort of speaks to you, which one sort of makes most sense. Because this recording software is what you're going to be using every day. And when you're full-time, all day, you know, for however long you're in this career. So make sure it makes sense and you're comfortable with it. And it's easier for you to understand, learn, and use because you're going to be using it a lot. So it needs to make sense to you. Dylan says to Donnie, but my screaming like a small child would probably present more issues. No, I didn't forget it was today. I was here. I swear to you I was here. It just was not live and I had no idea. Because I was looking at the poll. I was looking at a completely different screen. I didn't see it wasn't live. I promise I was here. I was talking to you, but you weren't there. Caesar says, fun fact, I walked out of the house once and a lizard fell on my shirt. Yeah, no thanks. My screams could be heard all the way to Sydney, Australia. I don't think she forgot. She put it on an announcement on Facebook unless that was automated. Nope, that was me. I don't do a whole lot of automation. Usually most of that is me. Most of it's me. I forget that not everyone lives on a ranch in the mountains. We have snakes, lizards, bears, mountain lions. No, I wish I had donuts. Caesar says, good question. She totally should bring donuts. I wish I had donuts. Hey, Chris. Chris is here. I found that buying a microphone that works for your recording environment helps to reduce the outside noises from the audio and learning audio engineering tips and tricks too. Yes, there are, much like my shotgun mic, there are a few different microphones, actually a lot of different microphones, but the design and type of microphone can help you with eliminating recording the noises in the first place. One of the reasons I chose this microphone, this shotgun microphone, is because it's laser focused on what is directly in front of it as opposed to around it, right? Like ambient everything around it. It's pretty much laser focused on my mouth. So it's not so much picking up what's over here. You guys can't see my hand, but over here, it's picking up exactly what's in front of it because I do have a lot of noise producing things around my recording space. So this one works best for me. But then also, to Chris's point, like Caesar said earlier, and Donnie, a few others, and Dwight, I believe, but using the correct effects in your effects rack can also help to reduce those noises too. Most equalizers will have a high pass filter. Usually you'll see it as HP in the equalizer. That's a high pass filter. That will like cut out most of those low end frequencies, which is your noise floor, which will help reduce your noise floor. Dylan says, hi, Chris. Everybody's saying hi to Chris. Donnie says, does anyone use Find Away Voices? I'm getting mixed reviews. Yeah, I'm on Find Away Voices. Yeah. Florida D says, hola, y'all. Hola to you. Chris says, hi, everyone. Missing all of you. Miss you too, Chris. It's good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. Dylan says, we see you. Good. I know. I swear I was just talking to you for like 10 minutes and you guys are all like, where is she at? Donuts incoming. Yeah, I wish. We heard nothing. Yeah, I know. My dog ate my homework. I swear, I was sitting here talking for 10 minutes and I went, oh, I have to repeat everything. And everything I said was so good. It came out so perfectly. Caesar says, maybe you turn on your noise reduction so we couldn't hear you. I know. Coach Ariel Anderson says, so great to catch you, Angela. Sorry, I was late. You always inspire me. Mercury retrograde messing with tech. Yes, yeah. Yes. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on in the world and in my own little personal world. Yeah. Real girl in the desert. Hello from Arizona. Hello, my fellow Arizonian. Caleb Schroeder says, is there a button for all of the above? You know, if there had been more, more options available to me, I definitely would have put all of the above. Dwight says, Angela, did you bring the donuts? No, I was here, I swear. Coach Ariel Anderson says, quiet and treat my space. Turn off everything and wait for neighbor to leave to work in the AM, as her kitchen is on the other side of the wall. Oh, yeah. So you got neighbors, thin walls. Yeah. Yes. It's, once you start to do this, you'll start to really pay attention to quiet periods of the day, every day. Like a Monday. Well, for example, for me, we have I live in a community and we have landscapers that come in and, do all that stuff on Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I can't record during that time because they're out there with leaf blowers and things. But you'll start to become aware of what days and times of those days are available to you to record. And that is another reason why I have my agenda book. I started to write these things down so I could plan how much time I would have in a day to record if I needed to, and then when I could edit those things, right? Trying to balance the air conditioner when everybody's home, when somebody's outside making noise, so on and so forth. So just start to make notes of those things, those windows of opportunity to record. Jim Williams says, I record with AC and computer off, noise still in the 50s. How do you record with your computer off? Do you use a different computer for the recording? You would have to if your computer's off. So I would say check the computer that you're using to record and see if that can be moved further away. And even in the 50s isn't that bad. If it's in the 50s, then maybe even a high pass filter in your equalizer or a light noise reducer might help you to get there. That's not far. Real Girl in the Desert says, yes, living in the desert makes it so hot. I need some sort of cool air. It's a struggle. Usually in the summertime, you'll see a lot of posts on social media of audiobook narrators in the booth wearing swimsuits, cold packs, things like that, sweating it out until you reach a point where you just can't go on and you need to stop the recording, turn the air conditioner on, get a fan on you, open the door, get some air. And you really should be taking breaks every 2 to 3 hours anyway, if not, even if not like more frequently, right? It's not good to be sitting for long periods of time anyway. So get up, move around, cool down, take a shower, you know, lay in front of a fan. It's not easy, especially in the summertime, if you live in a place that gets hot, like the desert. But you can do it. Like I'm sitting here with the air conditioner off right now and I'm sweating. Can't see it, but sweating. It's a struggle for sure. And in the wintertime, you have to like layer, layer. And I have, you know, a blanket in here. I've got a couple pairs of socks on. Yeah, it's not for the weak. John says hello from Tonopah. Oh, well, hello, fellow Arizonian. My noise floor is usually running at about -60, but I have to deal with pigeons, coyotes, and the flight school out of Buckeye that conducts training directly over. That's rough. That's rough. I feel you. Caleb says, too long of an interface cable caused an issue with my Scarlett for me, causing blue screens. Interesting. Said cable no longer than 6 feet if anyone else has had this problem. I know my cable is not longer than 6 feet because I think my cable is probably 6 feet. Because it's a small room. Yeah. That's a good point. And even the type of connection matters too. Like if it's a USB or a USB 2.0, if it's a USB-C, you know, you have to make sure that you're getting the correct cable. And in some cases, one that's not too long. So you might have to move all of your stuff a little bit closer, but still with that door partition, you know. Again, trial and error. You got to try some things. But I'm glad that you shared that, Caleb. That was something I was not aware of. I don't think my cord is longer than 6 feet. Interesting. Ben is here. Hey, Ben. Good morning. Can't hang out for the whole stream, but I'll watch replay. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you for dropping by. Glad to see ya. Dave Hernandez. Good morning, Dave. How important is the treating of a recording space? Very important. It's one of the most important things that you could focus on. It's more important than the mic you choose, for sure. Because if you have a $30 mic, it's going to make your room sound. If your room is treated poorly, it's going to make your room sound horrible. But a $5,000 mic is going to make your horrible room sound even more horrible. So treating your space, meaning moving or reducing that noise, whatever's causing the noise, you know, away from your microphone, making sure that the walls around you are treated, because remember that your voice is a vibration. When you're speaking, that vibration is going to bounce off of anything near it, causing echo or reverberation, right? So treating your walls, your desktop space, the floor underneath you, the ceiling above you, the walls behind you, in front of you, to the side of you, especially if you're in a small space that's less room for the vibration to travel. So your recording space, treating that is very important. Is very important. Yes, it won't cause the reduction of noise. Noise producers make noise, right? The one noise that you will have present if you don't treat your room will be reverberation or echo. That is the major factor there. But anything causing noise will affect your noise floor for sure. It might have a little impact on your noise floor, but not as much as something making noise, audible noise, or a hum. And that hum could even come from the cables that you're using. If you have cables even like in close proximity to electrical cords and things like that. So it might just take some trial and error, right? I have all of my mic cables and interface cables, XLR cables, are Megami Gold. So they are, they kind of clean out some of that extra, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, I want to keep saying static, but it's like the radio frequencies that get picked up. So I don't want anything I'm saying to scare you, because you will start to learn about this stuff the more that you do it. Trust me. Trial and error. Caesar says to Caleb, that's odd. 6 feet is like Thunderbolt 4 max length. USB should be able to run longer. You would think it would, but I don't know. Maybe the Focusrite is just picky. Consider a powered USB extension cable, perhaps, but better to have your interface nearby anyway. John says, fully sound deadened studio. You don't want it too dead. You don't want it too dead. Coach Ariel says, oh, I feel you on the heat. I'm sweating during recording. Same girl, same. Which shortens my recording time as I'm dying in that hot box. Yeah, for sure. So you got to do what you got to do, especially in the summertime. Get up, cool down, take more breaks, drink lots of water. Yeah. Jim says, what is an expander? It's like an effect setting. I personally don't use an expander, so I can't give you like solid advice on an expander. I don't really use one, but perhaps Caesar can explain it a little bit more, if you're willing, Caesar, in our next Platinum meeting on Thursday. Dwight says, regarding noise floor, I did everything under the sun, but in the end, building a really good recording booth and minimal effects. Do what Angela just said by getting rid of noise sources first. Mm-hmm. And I had to figure that out on my own. The whole finding the source of the noise and removing it or reducing it. Because I didn't know any of this stuff either. Caesar says to David, sound treatment will reduce reverberation but won't attenuate noise problems. Recommend soundproofing solutions such as weather stripping and door sweeps. Yeah, that is another thing that I had to consider in this room too, is just blocking out the noise that leaked into this room. Jim said, I was doing marketing when I noticed it was time for you. Marketing? You do marketing too? Marketing yourself or marketing for something else? Inquiring minds want to know. John says, 1 fully sound paneled studio, 2 fanless laptop, 3 AC off during recording, 4 shotgun by the door for the pigeons. I do not condone this message. Caesar says to Jim, an expander is a dynamics processing tool. Simple explanation is that it can be used to make the quiet sounds of your recording even quieter, i.e. room tone or noise floor. Well, there you go. I knew Caesar would swoop in to save the day. Donnie says to David, treating your space is paramount. A good mic will reveal any untreated areas. Always treat your space first. Agreed. Coach Ariel says, just bought a bunch of Waves plugins to experiment with, sparingly, yet joyfully. Yes. Another great suite of plugins that we talk about a lot here on my channel is from Isotope. Isotope.com, izotope.com. They have the suite of plugins referred to as, they are currently RX 11. They are great suites of plugins. They are not cheap, but worth every penny. And they have sales a lot. Usually this time of year, they'll have like everyone doing a Black Friday kind of a thing. So coming up soon, you'll start to see more and more sales on these things. Take advantage of them when they're on sale. For sure. Ty Condolar, hello. When I upload chapters to ACX and it says analyzing, are they checking for noise floor and RMS? Yes, they are. They might be making sure that they're also the right sample rate and bit depth, making sure that they are also MP3, wave, things like that. When you're uploading them into Audio Lab on ACX, that will also analyze them, and it'll tell you in Audio Lab if your RMS is too high, if your noise floor is too low. It'll tell you all of that stuff, so you can kind of double check before you upload them into ACX. Paul says, Angela, I think you misunderstood what I was saying. Sometimes the checks in Audacity or Second Opinion report that my noise floor is too low for ACX, but ACX don't regard it as a problem. No, I understood what you said. But ACX is the softwares for ACX, Audio Lab, are not 100% perfect, right, accurate all the time. I've had a handful of times where I have uploaded files into ACX, and ACX software came back and said, hey, your noise floor is too low, or I forget even what it was. and I went and checked the file myself. It was fine. So I just deleted the old file, uploaded the same one again, and it said, great, thanks, we're all good. The software is not 100% perfect. So as long as you know in your DAW, using your own DAW, if you know that your RMS is correct, that your noise floor is correct, your peak amplitude is correct, you know all of that. You know how to look at it, check it, know it, and ACX says there's a problem there. It's not 100% accurate all the time. It may not be a problem. Just re-upload the file. There's a lot of third-party checkers and things like that that are not 100% accurate, is what I was getting at. Dwight says, I also had to give up my wonderful office chair. It's so noisy. That is another thing that could cause noise that you don't think about. So I record sitting on a wooden stool, very quiet, and I get great posture and breathing for performances. Then edit with comfy chair. Well, there you go. You've got editing chair and recording chair. Another thing to keep in mind, and this was brought up a couple weeks ago, I think, was the shock mount. The shock mount on your microphone can also help to reduce noise by eliminating vibration from whatever your mic is standing on. Right? So if you have a desk mounted mic, so any kind of vibration coming from the floor, then up through the desk, up through the mic arm could also be picked up with your microphone, causing noise floor issues. So having a shock mount for your microphone, no matter what kind of microphone you have, will absorb whatever those vibrations are, improving your noise floor. So if you have a floor stand or a desk mounted arm that your mic is attached to, get a shock mount for your mic. That will help with reducing noise floor as well. NY Use 99, for what I produce, I try to keep a sound as raw and natural without sacrificing the aesthetical. However, my new space is in the sweet spot of electrical hums despite treatments. That stinks. That stinks, because I'm on the same page. I'm the same boat with you. I would much rather have it sound as natural as possible, but we have to do what we have to do to meet certain standards. And I hate having to do all of these additional things with reducing the noise floor, but it is what it is, right? You got to meet those ACX standards. And I have an electrical panel in this room that I think causes most of my noise floor issues, but I have to do what I have to do to get the best sound that you can. I'm with you. Caleb says to Caesar, yeah, it was weird. I plugged in a 15-foot cable to run along the wall. Seems like a syncing issue with the interface. The interface is actually 6 foot on the other side of the door. That's weird. Bob Reitz is here. Hey, Bob. I have to do the blanket thing, I guess. Yeah, do what you got to do. I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to sound good, right? If you're in a pinch, you could even go to the local Goodwill or your thrift store and get some duvets, get some comforters, wash them, and then hang them in spots that you think that might be causing reflection. Do what you got to do. Dwight says, the other noise reducer I use is Christine and Caesar. They are my effects rack. Caleb says to Dwight, I know the feeling about giving up the comfy chair. Sad face. Yeah, the chair was a factor for me too. I had like an old office chair in here too that was just super noisy and uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, okay, it's time for a new chair, but which one do I pick? So I thought to myself, okay, who sits in a chair for hours on end and, they seem to be comfortable? And so I went to gamers. I found some gamers and I was looking at the chairs that they were using. And then I found Secret Lab. So this chair has been amazing. It's an investment. But you know what? Worth every penny because it's quiet, it's comfortable. It had like a 5-year warranty on it. And dragons. So just an idea if you're looking for some new chairs. Secret Lab. Check them out. Caesar says, oh, Pam said bid. I read bird. It was bid. Dwight says, congrats, Pam. Both booth time coming. Donnie says, congratulations, Pam. Coach Ariel says, crickets, wow. My family makes enough noise. Jim says Audacity will not save a file as a WAV, so I went to Audition. It will. You just have to export it in a special way. It will save as WAV. You just have to export it as such. Dylan says to Jim, you just need to export audio as a WAV file. Yeah, export audio as a WAV file. Jeremy Brock said, I dropped negative 3 dB on my noise floor just from turning off my overhead light. Yes, lights. The light's even behind me now. Anything that you have on in your space can produce a low hum. So when I'm recording, all I have on in here, in as far as lights go, is the overhead bulb, and that is also blue. It's one of those RGB, like remote controlled lights, so I can have it really any color I want it to be. But it's not a bright white light, but that is it. No, none of these lights behind me are on. Maybe when I'm editing and I want, just want something fun, but all these lights are only on when I'm recording on camera, for the most part. Strange what things affect the noise floor. Yeah, trial and error. Jim says, my Anderson windows have kept the street noises out. Get your tax credit, too. Yeah, I heard about those. I'm going to check those out. Jim says, I don't see how to list with find-away voices. Nothing made sense. I think you have to, if I remember correctly, and they've changed some things over the course of the last couple of years, so I might have to go and take another look at them. But I think you might have to apply now and then create a profile, and then they approve you, I think. I'll have to go back and check. They've changed some things. Eric Grimes, hey Eric, joining an amazing community like Angela's, which is full of talented, brilliant, and helpful artists, has been invaluable to me and has helped me get things dialed in like it should be. Thank you for saying that, Eric. I think on behalf of all the Platinum Group, I appreciate you, and we're very glad that you're part of it. Thank you so much for that, Eric. I'm glad it helps. Real Girl in the Desert says, I'm new here. Hello, Chat and Angela. I have just created my closet studio, and I'm so excited to start. You have been a great help and teacher. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Yay. Voiceover Van Deen says, afternoon all. I reduced mine by floating the floor, plugging the window, building a booth, having a dedicated clean power supply. Yes, clean power supply just for the studio, and careful cable segregation and routing simples. Then, next door, bought a hot tub, and the guy across the road got a TVR sports car, both of which still creep in slightly. Yes. That's cool, though. Jim says, I record with the Zoom H5. Oh, I have one of those, too. I use it for travel, as a travel rig. I don't use it for everyday recording, though. Caesar said, yes, picking the right mic can make a difference. I do have a go-to microphone that rejects room noise phenomenally well. Just needs a lot of clean gain to operate effectively. Jim says, I wash clothes while working, laundry on the other end of the house. That's helpful. Florida D says, dynamic versus condenser. I have both. Is it really necessary to use a condenser mic as for audiobooks? The dynamic definitely has less background noise. You don't have to use one or the other. I would say it just comes down to what works best for you and your space. And what sounds best for you. There's no like standard or like demand for one versus the other. Masonry Construction says, one of the blessings of not doing audiobooks, but just commercial type VO, is that I'm just required to give a clean, quiet audio. No noise floor second guessing, and it's way shorter work. Absolutely. Most of the time for anything else that I'm recording other than audiobooks, I mean, noise floor is a non-factor. Noise floor, as long as it's not something that's audible to the ear and, distracting. A lot of my clients have their own audio engineers, and they want raw audio files, no compression, no effects, no nothing. They handle it on their end. So that's nice too. But audiobooks, you definitely need to adhere to the standards. Noise floor is one of those standards, so we definitely need to figure out where that noise is coming from and reduce or remove it if we can, ideally. Caesar says to Florida D, that's a bit of a contentious topic, as condensers are an audiobook narration standard, but certain dynamics are more than capable for VO work. And Caesar is very, I think, biased. He's the mic guy. Jim says USB-C and USB micro are connectors. Oh, for the Zoom, for the H5. Real Girl in the Desert says to John, hello from Tonopah here too. Small world. Snakes out right now. Be safe. No snakes. Caesar said, Angela's right about expensive mics potentially magnifying room resonance issues. My experience with them is that they are more detailed and pick up everything, like swallowing drinks. In our last Platinum group session, Caesar was drinking tea, or I don't know what you were drinking, but it was quiet for like a split second, and all you heard was like this most. It was a gulp. Yes, very clear, crystal clear. Eric says, good morning, just sitting here watching the feed and eating donuts. Of course you are. Gregory says, I utilize fade in, fade out while editing so that things don't sound choppy. I tend to run out of gas on sentences. So it's a good way to weave phrases together, eliminating pesky clicks. Fade in, fade out. Why do that, Gregory? Maybe we can help fix that for you. You shouldn't have to be doing all of that. Caesar says to Coach Ariel, one of the things I use is a cooling vest. It has pockets for cold compresses. They can help. Just have a shirt underneath or you'll get ice burns. Yeah, cooling packs definitely help you. Jim says, marketing is looking up production studios here and elsewhere to list my services with. Good for you. Don't forget your local Chamber of Commerce as well. Dwight says, I mount my microphone arm mounted to my wall. What a huge difference it makes. Miscellaneous vibrations have virtually disappeared. I would still consider a shock mount, though. I would still, regardless of how your microphone is, mounted, I would definitely use, sorry, I had to fluff. I would definitely use a shock mount anyway. Would definitely help. Caesar says, RF-resistant microphones can also help with rooms that contain potential interference problems, much like Angela's mic. Other options are the Rode NTG5 and the Deity S-Mic 3S. Look at Caesar. He is the mic guru. Dylan says, I can edit out squeaks in post. You can take my comfy chair for my cold dead butt. Masonry Construction says, I would imagine that the laundry process is an extremely important process in removing bugs from the studio. John says, I also picked up from Amazon some sound-absorbing curtains for windows and sound wall curtain to sub-partition the recording area from the rest of the space. Made all the difference. There you go. Sometimes we got to get creative. Coach Ariel says, thank you, Caesar. I had no idea. And yes, all my chairs too noisy. I can only stand. And to Dwight, I can't wait to get an arm. I'm using 2 tripods in closet covered in acoustic blankets. Florida D says, my wife still thinks the dining room set had 8 chairs, not 7. I keep trying to convince that's not true while sitting on the 8th chair in the studio. You're just borrowing it. Or you relocated it, right? You didn't steal it. You just relocated it. Jim Williams says, fluorescents have transformers. They make noise. My incandescents are very quiet. Yep, don't forget the lights. Lights make noise. Dylan said, aloha reminds me of a joke. You can't laugh out loud in Hawaii. You're only allowed aloha. I haven't heard that one. It's good. Caesar says to Dylan, thank you for your contribution. I shall now escort you to the exit. Nate Rick says, isotope. Yes, isotope. I love my isotope plugins. Jim says, getting hungry. Been 5 hours since breakfast. See ya. Enjoy your breakfast or enjoy your lunch, Jim. Dwight says, hey, gang, smash that thumbs up button. It helps Angela a lot. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. I don't know about smashing because that might be a little bit too extreme. Just click it. Would be appreciated. Thank you. And my MKH416. Yes, that's exactly what this is here. Sennheiser MKH416. Dylan says to Caesar, I'm already on my way. Sorry, y'all, but it had to be said. Nate says, yep, raw. Coach says, I really appreciate you, Angela. So generous. Noise of swishy acoustic blankets. Well, not on video. made a big difference. In noise when moving while recording, more space adjustments. Yes, that is another thing to consider is when you're moving around in your chair. Is it making noise? Are your clothes making noise? Are you wearing jewelry that makes noise? You should have none of that going on while you're recording, right? I try not to wear jeans in here because they, make noise. Corduroy, of course, is always out when you're trying to record for obvious reasons, but like earrings, bracelets, even some necklaces, if you have multiple, you don't want anything in here, multiple rings on your fingers that can click together. Anything that makes noise. I mean, you really have to sit and think about things that you probably haven't thought of, before, because it's just normal everyday stuff. But all of this stuff can make noise and, reduce the quality of your audio. Nate Rick says, Nate from Vegas. Lots of desert people here today. Dwight says, I do have a shock mount, and mic position also helps greatly against mic noises. Donnie and his rum. Bob Reed says, TMI, I know, so don't think about it too much. I'm a nudist, so just a slight breeze. And client doesn't need to know. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a camera on, be comfortable. If you have to record in a swimsuit, you have to record in a swimsuit. It is what it is. The client doesn't see you. Caesar says, I too have plans on wall mounting my boom arms. Dwight's mic has an excellent shock mount. It's the same one as the Neumann TLM 102, just has the Sennheiser brand on it in lieu of Neumann. I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, right? Adekoya Gabriel says, hello, Angela. Based on the issue of the client that was asking for refund for job done because ACX choose to think my narration was text-to-speech, I got to discover that the client reported me. After the client got refund, I got to know that that's how she does to narrators. Yeah, and you will have that from time to time. I mean, not everybody is a good apple. Not everybody is a good apple, and from time to time you're going to run across them. But I'm hoping that this was a lesson learned for you. It stinks that happened, but hopefully this will be the one and only time, and it's out of the way now, and now you can move forward. Coach Ariel says, I just changed my closet light to LED bulb, also quiet and cooler, for sure. Adekoya says she will get refunded and use the audiobook for non-exclusive to other platforms. No, she won't, because she did not pay you. If that is the case, then I would get like attorneys involved or something. Narrator should be careful with clients. I don't think I'll use PayPal to receive payment again. What did PayPal have to do with it? You can use. There are a lot of places. We talked about this a while ago. There was a Wave, Squarespace, Stripe, PayPal Business is what I use for invoicing. So was she able to cancel through PayPal? I don't understand what PayPal had to do with it. If it was through ACX, I'm not sure. Thank you, Angela. I've learned a lot from your live sessions. Well, good. I'm hoping so. Caesar said, back in 2018, I edited an interview with a real estate agent who wore like 1 million bracelets down both arms. I know. I have podcasters that do that. Please, for the love of God, don't wear anything that jingles when recording. Yeah. And a lot of people don't think of that kind of stuff when they're recording because they're just accustomed to it. They're just used to it. They think that the mic is going to pick up their voice and only their voice when that's not true. It'll pick up the plane going by overhead. It'll pick up the truck going by outside. It'll pick up the dog barking or the rooster crowing next door. It'll pick up their earrings jingling, the bracelets, all of that stuff. The phone making noise, the notifications on your desktop. It'll pick up all of that stuff. So, finding the root cause and eliminating it might take a little bit of trial and error. Gregory says, I had to train myself to listen for my chair creakiness. I've had a great recording experience, only to be ruined by the sound of wood moving around. Same, brother. Ariel says, I'm laughing out loud, imagining all out different outfits or lack thereof during recording. Yeah. 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 Caesar says, I think the client filed for a refund on PayPal. I believe it's something that can be contested, or you can bring PayPal support into the picture so they can work this out for you. That's what I would do, because she should not be able to use your audio. If she says that, if she rejected it and said it was text to speech, then she should not be using it at all, period, without paying you, period. She was able to get refund through PayPal. Even though I provided evidence to PayPal review, they believed her over me. I was not happy at all. Donnie says, I removed jewelry except piercings. Caesar says, yeah, that's usually the issue, as PayPal often favors the customer over the merchant. That is very unfortunate. It is, but if she is in fact using your audio without paying you for it, that is a huge problem. That is a huge problem. I would find a way to report that. Yeah, like Caesar says, definitely escalate. I would definitely say that is theft. That is fraud. That is not good. All right, you guys. Again, I'm sorry about earlier. I promise you I was here talking to you guys for like 10 minutes. But apparently you guys couldn't see me, so I'm not sure what happened, but I apologize for that. But I will be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. If there's something that you want to learn more about or want to talk about as a group, then please leave it in the comments below. And if you're watching this in Team Replay, then please consider liking and subscribing. It does really help my channel out a lot. Tells the algorithm that this is useful, at least entertaining. And it will, you know, share my channel with other people. So it does really help. So I'll see you guys all next week. So until then, good luck with your noise floors and take care. Bye.